and welcome back to techystack channel.
Today we'll try to learn one more new concept in RE framework. So as of now, we are getting the keys from the orchestrator now. So now what I am trying to do, so we are getting the data from the Excel file. So which is that is as orchestrator. Now here we are not using these queues. So just we are getting the data from the Excel file. So Excel file is the orchestrator for us as of now. So now the first things is what are the things are is available. Just check for the all the variables. So what are the required? So we need to get that one. So I will go one by one. So as of now, I will go first the transactions. So in this transaction, once the data is done now, so then we need to update something the data, like setting the transactions. This is the one. So here these things is not required. Okay, just I'm removing these things and I will check what are the variables are there and arguments. I will remove this. So here transaction one field is required. I mean, I need to remove. Just I'm making the note here what I need to read. So this is not required for me. Okay, config, let it be config. I'm not touching anything. And read write transaction, a couple of the things I'm not touching. So as of now, here I'm touching only these two things, which is not required for me. So this is transaction field. It came to here and setting that status. So now I'm just removing those two variables. So we'll get some errors. So we'll rectify those errors as well. Okay, and we know that this activity is not required for me. So just I'm removing this. Instead of that, I will make something different. Okay, and we need to check is there anything. Okay, here also it's there. So this is error one. Na? So if you get any business exception like that to handling, so this is also not required for this process. And something add finally. Okay, we need to check here. Anything is there. Okay, this is done. And still we're getting some error in the try catch. So we need to rectify that. Okay, exception handling. So this is also not required. So if you want, you can make our thing. Okay. So process transaction is completed. So now I'm going to the get transaction data. So in this get transaction data, generally what we are doing. So where is this transaction item is nothing. Basically having one thing. Okay. So we are getting the get transaction data na, from here. So which is hitting this orchestrator and thing. So this one is not required for me. So I'm removing this thing and these and all things is not required for me. So just I'm removing this. So here what I'm trying now. So my orchestrator is nothing but also my Excel file. So let me go. I'm having one Excel file. Let me take that Excel file. So this is my Excel file. I will just paste into there data input. Okay, in this Excel file having some couple of rows and columns. So I need to fetch one by one as is and just I want to print that as is. That's it. And update status. Okay. So let me copy this is my path. So and here I want to take one by one. I don't want to take all at once. I need to take one by one. So the first step is grade range workbook. And a couple of the things I'm not using here because this is not end-to-end projection. So that's why just aware of these things, how we can run the bot RE framework without queues. Okay, just I updated and the sheet name is data. Okay, this is done. And I'm creating one variable which we called Excel data table. Done. So if you want, you can change this scope of that variable. It's fine, or else you can leave it as it is. So once data is right, then I want to check. So if this item need to pick or not. I mean, item is here. If this row I need to pick or not. So how I'm considering this row whether I need to pick or not. So if this status is equals to blank and serial number not equals to blank, then only I need to pick. So for that, I need to like blue for the showing data table. And here I need to update Excel data table. Inside of that, I need to apply the if condition. Okay. If current row of 0 dot to string not equals to blank and current row of 1 dot to string equals to blank, then only I need to consider that. Okay. And I'm taking one as an activity. So as an activity, and here I'm using this argument. So I have the couple of arguments. So this argument is not required. I'm removing. So okay. Okay, the transaction item just here Q item is just I will make it as string and I will change outside. So the transaction ID I'm removing this. So and that's it. So here I will make it as out transaction item is equals to current row of 1 dot to string. Okay, so I'm just fetching this data from the Excel file. This is done. So now we need to check whether we are getting this out transaction data or not. So, and we need to remove, okay, and then automatically it will remove all the things. And out transaction item I want to save in somewhere, no? So just I am saving in transaction item dot to string. Okay, this transaction item, why it's getting that error, no? So because just go and check this transaction item is in the format of queue. So just change this to string or else you can remove that enter and you can save it. That's not in a problem. So transaction ID is not required and couple of the things here not required, but as of no temporary purpose, I will make it like that only. I'm not changing anything. So here I need to update transaction item. Okay. Now we'll check whether I'm getting the transaction item or not. So here having some error. So transaction item. So what it's showing this error. So cannot assign core activities train. Okay, 1 second. So if nothing is there, then we need to stop this one. No? So transaction item. If nothing is correct only. Cannot assign from type 4. Okay, transaction item which is not related to I changed the variable as well. Transaction item. I changed this. 1 second. Let me change the queue. Okay. So this should be the string only. I will change this one. So inside it's gone. Okay, this is fine. And we need to check exceptions. So okay. So here just I'm removing this and updating normally. No THI, nothing, then it will disappear automatically. And top side also we need to do the same thing. But basically it will come by default. But for me, I'm not sure why it's not getting. Let me take this and copy and paste on the top side, and I will remove this. Okay, now all the errors has been disappeared from this point. Let me check. Okay, in transaction item we have this thing. Let me go and check process XAML. Okay. So here transaction item is enough. So here I need to remove this and I will make it as here we need to change this to string. Okay, that's it. And we need to check is there anything errors are there or not. So going to main menu. Okay. So as of now, no errors is there. So I'm just keeping one breakpoint here. So I want to check whether I'm fetching this data or not. Okay, let me close this Excel file as well. So my main agenda is need to run the RE framework without the queues. So moving step into and couple of the things we need to change because whatever the RE framework is designed for the orchestrator level, right now we are doing changing into the normal level. So that's why we need to change couple of the things. And as of now, okay, this thing I not remove now. Okay, let me go and check where it is getting odd sets. I need to check where this is activities available. Okay, where it is this. Okay, trying the credentials. I'm disabling this part, not required. Or else you can, if you want, you can delete it. It's not a problem. What is initial all settings? So as of my temporary purpose, what I am doing now, so I will go and initialize all settings is there now. So I will just disable this part. Anyway, config is not required for me at this moment. So that's why just I disable that point and running this one. We'll see what it will happen. Okay, where it came again. Add log files. From where it's adding the log files. Connect to stage. Okay. So here what happening? A config is there. So we need to check this one, this activity. Okay, let me enable this. I will go inside and config this dictionary. What I will do, I will go this in config file and I will remove couple of the things there. So assets, I don't have any assets for this process and I don't have any credentials. I'm removing all these credentials and consonants, let it be, settings, let it be. Let me run, will get error or not. We need to check this. So we need to run like this only, keep on doing and changing the couple of the things, and we need to validate whether it's working fine or not. Again, we got some error. So hash key, okay, already this is framework designed for something. So that's why I'm getting this error. Okay, I will remove this all the steps here. Okay, let it remove. Okay, done. This also done, and these are all steps which is not required. Okay, just kill this process. That's it. So compilation file was valid. Maybe it's having some other issues. Okay, now it's came. Okay, now finally it's came to our process, and I'm checking here whether I'm fetch the data or not. I want to check. So the first step, let me check. First of all, Excel data table. I have this data. Current row of 0 dot full string not equals to blank. I need to come inside. Let me check. Okay, it's true. And the next one, what I keep here, current row of 101. Okay, here I want to take this 2 because the 1 is okay, not this one. So the column 1 is having this data. So that's why it's not getting. So I need to consider the C. So I need to go to framework and edit that to 2. So let me change that number to. So going inside and I will change this to 2. Okay, and again I'm running this plot. So that is error I'm getting normally that error. So I don't know. Just I'm closing all other things. I'm running this for me working fine. So now it's fetched this one data. So we can check here out transaction. So our transaction having the sum data. Okay. Now it came out of this. Okay, okay. Here I forget one more thing. So once we got this data, then we need to exit of that. No. So for that I'm using this breakpoint. So let me update this break. So we need to run multiple times. We cannot do anything at this point. Okay. So still, if you are getting these kind of issues, now just restart your machine and it will work, not a problem. I have not restarted machines for a couple of days, so that's why I'm getting those kind of errors. Okay, now everything's finally is done. So we got this transaction data and just we are out for that loop. Okay, then it moved back to this our main framework, and here we need to check where it is storing transaction item. So just update check here. Transaction item is having the data or not. So we got this data. Okay. And now we need to check whether it's moving to the transaction, I mean process state or not. So now it's got this process status. Okay. So it's okay. Here it's not moving because some input arguments having the issues. So I need to open that particular workflow. Okay. This is a process having some different process. So now I'm removing all the steps. So these and all already I have worked for the some other RF framework. So these and all steps are not required for me. So let me check what are the arguments are there. So in transaction item, so this is for the string. Basically we declared the string now, so that's why we need it. And Excel table, let it be, it's not, it won't affect anything. And I will check here. So transaction item is in the part of a string. That's it. Okay. Now process just I want to declare the message box. That's it. I don't want to do much more. Message box. Just I will update. Okay, I need to update the same thing. Uh, transaction in transaction item. Okay, now I'm just checking whether I'm getting this data or not. Once this is done, later I will show you how we can update this data. Okay, the first step it's taken and out came from that, and it's moving to the process status where it's came, and we can see this data is access. So now here the tell steps is completed. Now we want to update the status. So once came into this point, so we need to update the status here. So I want to update the status at the point of here. Okay. So here we can do multiple ways, but as of now, I'm going with a different way. I will show you that thing. Go to the get transaction data and take one variable as an activity, and I'm giving this as Excel counter, and I make it as one. Okay, this should be the outside of this product activity, and inside I'm incrementing the counter. So basically, what happened now? So let me open this. So our index, this is always starts from the zero now. So this takes zero. Okay, this plus one. So one, two. So just declare the one at the top side. Okay, and here you can mention this Excel counter plus one. So it will give this two. Okay, then the data is updating to the Excel file. This Excel counter we need to update into the augments. So let me copy, and I'm going back to this transaction, and here it's came. It's not key. Let me check. Get transaction item Excel counter. Okay, this is done out. Okay, this is a process YAML. So I need to go to the get transaction and here I need to check. Okay, here Excel counter is done. So I'm giving one more variable. Just I make it as a counter. If you want, we can change as per according to you. And just I need to check counter is there. So this is for the get business transaction. Done. Okay, now the next step is I need to pass it to here. So I need to pass it to where like a variable. Okay, before I need to go to this process and I'm creating one more variable which we called in counter. So this is for this string, sorry, integer. Let me save and going back to the main and we can able to see that is already available here. And I will make it as not config. I will update as counter. That's it. Okay. And going back to the process again, I need to update the status here. So updating for the status, I'm take right cell. So I want to update the only particular cell. I don't want to do anything. So right cell and I want this path. This is the my path. Let me okay, right cell workbook, not this activity. And my sheet name is data and this is success. And where I want to update at the column of C plus in counter is there. Sorry, not in counter output string. It will update the data there. Okay, now let it run till here and we'll go one by one thing. Okay, it's came here. I mean, it is in the for loop, so which you are getting this data as is. So I'm opening this Excel file and we can see this data has success. Okay, now I'm running for the second iteration. So let me run for the second iteration. So now we can see this del. And when I go and check this data, so it's updated as if for the success. Okay, okay. Here I'm having something issue. So we need to find out that. Okay, here is a issue, I think so. Okay, what happened now? If it is not came inside here, then it's going to the else part now. There we also need to be increment part. So just copy this and paste it here. So it go to else part also we need to increment the counter. So if it is not done, it is won't get work. So let me run it again. Still it's not stopped. So having some issue, I need to restart this mission. Okay, still if you're not subscribed to techystack channel, so please try to subscribe and share it with your circle. And upcoming video, I mean upcoming we can see multiple videos. Okay, now Dell. So now it's came to Dell because already access is done. So I don't want it done again. I mean I don't want to repeat the already successful. So it's came to the Dell. Let me click on this. Okay, it's thrown error. Okay, it's came here. Now I'm going to inside and we can see this now Dell got success because we added the thing downside. So this is not. So now I will run all the things and let me remove this breakpoint. Why? Okay, let it run. All has been completed. And if you want, you can see this output variables checks transaction number. So already every time I'm taking the same thing. So that's why it's getting the transaction number one. And we can see this process started, so it's repeated for 7 or 8 times and closing all applications, finish the data, all the things after this thing. So if you don't want to see this get transaction item like this, Just go and change this messages boxes or log files as per our, I mean your client requirements. So if you don't want to use this uh, queues in the RE framework. Okay, now I'm going to the output file finally, and we can see this all got success. So you can update failure things, success things, business exceptions. If you want, you can create the own business exceptions. You can do end to end.
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, make sure to hit that like button, share with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to turn off notifications so you never miss an upload.